your first time here, I'm just going to give you a quick little introduction. My name is Ku'u Ka'uanoi. I'm a 2016 graduate of the ACM program, and this is Talkin Story with Alumni. If you can hear me good, give me a thumbs up in the comments. Comment your name and what year you're in at ACM or what your ties are to the ACM program. Oh, I'm so glad there's so many of you. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, this is Talkin Story with Alumni. I'm Ku'u Ka'uanoi, and we are going to catch up. Well, in the show, we get to catch up with my fellow classmates, your future colleagues, and just see what they're up to and learn about how they got there. Hello, hi friends. Today, I'm super excited because this is going to be like a real-time catch-up. Like in real life. Well, not really because we're still virtual, but you know what I mean. Because today one of our guests is a really good friend of mine. I'm so excited that she could finally be on and share all of her experiences. Before I go ahead and introduce her, I'm just going to add her to our feed, but also encourage you guys to drop some questions, okay? We want to know what you want to know. So if you have questions about the program, about finding internships or jobs, drop them in the comments and we'll get to them later on in the live stream. So I'm going to introduce Ashley Guzman. She is a 2016 ACM graduate. Oh no, I'm a 2016. She's a 2017 graduate of ACM, and she actually works in television production. She's worked on shows such as Hawaii Five-0, Magnum PI, NCIS Hawaii, and recently wrapped on a new CW series, Walker Independence. So let me add her to our stream. Give me 1 second. Ashley, let me know if you got that invite. Or if you request to join, then I can put you in. Oh, give me 1 second. Let's get her on. So you might see, oh, there you go.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm so good. It's so good to be able to talk with you again finally.
I know. I was saying this is like a real-time catch-up because I literally want to hear about all the things that you're doing.
I know,
And it's
been
so good to see
so
your
long.
face.
What? I know. Wait, what?
It's so good to see your face.
It's so good to see yours too. Just for context for everyone, Ku'u's been trying to get me on this for literally months, and I have been nonstop working up until like a few weeks ago, so I'm really, really excited that this is finally working out.
Oh, for sure. I know. And everyone's so busy, and especially you, and I can't wait to catch up. I was just thinking, I think like the last time we saw each other was like pre-pandemic, like early pandemic. And that was
It
like,
had to have been.
it's been years. Oh, look, Charlotte said years, and it has been.
It has been so long. But I'm finally free for a minute, so here I am.
I know, I'm glad. Okay, so I'm gonna encourage everyone to drop questions in the comments again. But I mean, I have a list of questions, so let's get through these and then we can get to the ones that people want to ask you, okay? Well,
Okay,
for
great.
me, like I always want to know, right, from people who are on, and I'm actually surprised that I don't know this about you already. but as a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up?
That's really funny because I don't think I knew. I knew I was like I was definitely the creative one in my family, but I didn't really have any direction with it. So stumbling onto this was like just luck, I think.
And that's okay. I think that's okay. You found it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to get into that a little bit, especially because you're like our first guest that's worked in television. So tell me how you got into video, media. I mean, coming from like knowing that you're creative and then like finding that mode, like how did that happen for you?
All by happenstance. It's kind of funny. I graduated from a community college in Arizona before transferring to UH, West Oahu. And the community college I went to was focused in film production. And so I knew I wanted to get into some sort of production world. And when I first moved to Hawaii with my family, I saw Hawaii Five-O filming on the side of the road, and I walked on to ask for a job. And I sent in my resume to an email they gave me, and fast forward, after going through the ACM program, ended up working on the show, which is kind of crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. I mean, people, I know, people are going to want to ask, especially these students who are trying to figure out what they want to do. They're going to ask, like, how did you do it? And
Yeah.
I mean, I think first, sorry, let me just close some of these. I'm trying to look and see if anyone dropped any questions yet. Oh, I think Actual John, is that your name? Said, that's awesome. And I
It's
think
wild.
Smiley Flower said, wow, just like that? I guess just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very roundabout way. Film is hard because it's all about who you know. Like, it's all about networking. You just need to stumble upon the right person to be able to give you a chance. And okay, they're asking what I did on the show. So I started off on Hawaii Five-O as a production assistant in the production office. That was season 9. And then from there, I bumped up to producer's assistant. And that's what I've kind of been doing since then on every other show. Yeah, I got Mahea her job. How can we do that? LinkedIn was nasty. LinkedIn is crazy. So it's so hard. Maybe let's go through Ku'u's questions, and then I can kind of like go through a little more, or
well, I think I just want to backtrack just a
yeah.
little bit. So, I mean, of course, we want to hear about your career and what you do and like how,
Yeah.
You can move up in that, because it is a really hard business to break into. It's a hard industry, especially out here in Hawaii. So I just want to back up just a tad, just a small tad, just
yeah.
What, I mean, especially because you just saw them on the side of the road and then you were like, hey, can I get a job? I mean, what advice would you give for a student who is, going through school right now, but also looking into getting into that field,
I think it all depends on what you want to do. It's that industry of like, people always say on set you don't need a degree for the industry, which is true. But you meet people in school to get you into the industry, which isn't how it happened for me. So I wouldn't take that as like a hard and fast rule. But think about what you want to do and try to find someone you can ask questions to. There are a ton of people out there in the industry. Like, my old boss has spoken to you guys, I think, Karen Gaviola. But they're very, very open to talking to students if you're able to find the right person. And the cool thing about being a student is there's so many crazy opportunities that I wish I would have taken advantage of. And it's more so like on the larger scale things outside of Hawaii, which is kind of a bummer. So South by Southwest, Canes does a bunch of cool stuff where you can get passes to movies for free. You can join the panels. That's where you can like get a closer and more intimate viewing with the people you want to interact with or be like in the end. But also in school, I think a big part of it is starting to build your portfolio early. I wish I had done this. So my end goal is to be a director. And there isn't one path to get into any specific role. That's kind of like a blessing and a curse, because you can move up any way you want to, but it can be kind of overwhelming. So when you're in ACM, take advantage and utilize all of the awesome programs, the awesome new building you guys have, which, by the way, I just have to mention, I'm going to sound like such an old timer saying this, but Ku'u and I came out of this program, I think I was the last year that graduated without having access to this new building you guys have. We are so jealous. We are so jealous. It's awesome.
Right.
When Ku'u and I were in the program, it was literally one room. All of our classes were in a single room. Like the lab was in one side of the room and classes took place on the other side. So y'all better take advantage.
Yes.
So lucky. So
if
lucky.
we could make stuff out of that one room, they have so many resources to make things.
Right.
Charlotte said it was cozy. Okay?
It was cozy. It was cozy and sweet.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying,
COVID.
though.
Well, moving forward, hopefully you guys are able to use it. But even so, going back to your original question, like if you want to be a screenwriter, like start writing shorts, like start writing your pilot, start writing a feature. Like it'll probably suck and you'll look back at it and be like, oh my gosh, that was awful. But I feel like creativity is a muscle and you need to practice it. So while you're in school, I know it can be really frustrating, especially as us creative people, to have to stick to timelines, like stick to like all of these rules, like that the projects are telling us. That's also real life, and like you're gonna have deadlines, you're gonna have outlines to whatever project you're working on, but outside of that, do your own stuff that gets you excited and collaborate with your peers. Like the peers that you have now are the people that you're gonna have in your group and network, like moving out of school. Like Ku'u and I are the perfect example. We met after we both graduated, but we were linked through ACM. Mahea, who's on this, I got her job on Magnum PI, and that's how she got started in the industry. And she graduated before me too. So all of you guys, it's all about who you know right now, who will like be your tried and true, and you'll be able to trust them, stick with them.
Yeah, they really are going to be your peers, right? Especially when you move forward in your career, seeing what they're working on and what you're working on, and like ways that you can collab if there's a good relationship. I mean, you said it from the beginning, right? Like you don't really need a degree to go into this industry, but that practice of, networking, committing to deadlines and all those stuff are really important. They may not be like hard skills, you know what I mean? But they are definitely important.
Yeah. Totally important. It definitely teaches you discipline, which is like, for me as a creative person personally, is so hard sometimes to have that structure. I just want to be creative, just let me do my thing. But the structure needs to be a part of it, and ACM is so good at teaching you that. Listen to Charlotte, everyone.
Every time I bring somebody on, everyone says that, to listen to Charlotte. So this is just a promo for Charlotte's skills.
Yes.
Someone asked earlier, so we're just going to get right into it. What was it like being a production assistant? Tell us what the job was like, what your day was like, what you had to do.
Yeah, everyone, when you go into the industry, everyone starts as a production assistant. Doesn't matter what department you're starting off in, if you're in art, wardrobe, if you're on set. Me being in the production office, I was mostly doing paperwork and going on runs. I had to distro a ton of things. But the cool thing about working out of the production office is I learned literally everything about every department. I got to know about all the department heads. I learned about how the production works from the top down. So I was involved in all the pre-production. Like I got to read all the scripts. I saw the schedules before they were released. I got to interact with the directors on a day-to-day basis. It was a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's really long hours. When you're in production at any capacity, it's 12-hour days, which is brutal. But you kind of just get used to it. Yeah. The general strokes.
Yeah. Broad strokes, you'll get used to it. Well,
yeah. Good luck.
Good luck. I know, and the reason why I love doing this and I love catching up with people is because we can be real and tell them like, hey, it's hard, especially around, let's be real, around showbiz and entertainment, there's a lot of glamour and you get to do really cool things like work on new shows like you just have. But I mean, what's like the one piece of advice you would give students to not only make it into entertainment, but also just like how to stick it out?
It's definitely a pursuit of passion.
Okay. Explain. Go
Um,
ahead.
yeah, it's we always joke, at least me and my friends in the industry, that we're crazy, but we love it. And like no one else would do the work that we do. And like no one else understands like what we do unless you've done it before. But because you're working 5 days a week, 60-hour weeks with this team of people, you learn, you create a family and you learn so much. And I don't know, like once you fall in love with it, it's kind of hard to escape it. And if it's really what you want to do, you kind of know within the first week, which I feel like
Oh,
cool,
for
you
sure.
have.
Oh, for sure. Well, I love that we have both of us on, right?
Yeah.
Because it's two extreme
Yeah.
extremes of
Yeah.
the spectrum. Okay,
Yeah.
just as a background, I did a little bit of PA work, and I would like go on runs when I worked in New York on the Tonight Show, right? But never in the capacity that I did on the day that I worked at Holy 50, and it was intense. And that's what I mean by like giving them advice about it and being real. Like it's intense and it's a lot of work, and if you love it and you commit to it, like obviously you have done and excelled in. By the way, we're going to get into how you moved up into being a producer's assistant. Okay, hold on. But you know what I mean? It's definitely, if I mean, if you if you really love it and if you really have a passion for it, then you'll stick it out just like how you've done. I'm going to get to this other question that I saw from Gavin, because I don't want you to think we missed you, Gavin. But he was talking about when we were saying that we were jealous about the ACM building. He said, don't you think that creativity with limits helped you be more inventive with your craft while in school?
Yes, totally. But and it's like so challenging too, though.
Mm,
I it can be fun, and you have to figure out what, like I think that helps you figure out what you want to do in the end, right?
mm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with ACM, it's really awesome because you guys have so many different tracks and you
Yeah.
guys have the opportunity to take so many different courses that are maybe a little unrelated to what you want to do in the end. Like I took the game design class. It was awesome. It was so hard. Coding is not.
Not for me.
I ended up focusing in graphic design because the community college I went to had the focus in film and television production. So lots of the courses would just be a double up of what I had already learned. Did I go into design? No, I did not. I took all the courses with Charlotte and I was like, wow, I'm really bad at this. I ended up getting back into film. Like I ended up just I kept falling back into what I really wanted to do in the end, which was film production, which was really surprising.
Yeah. Well, I love, and that's what I mean. I love about this program is you get to try different things. And,
Yeah.
I love what you mean by Gavin about like being inventive, right? Because like in my position where I manage social media, like that wasn't a thing. Like that was a very like
Yeah.
small thing. People were very much on Twitter. So like I think, yeah, like back then it really had us get creative, not only with like the projects that we were doing, but like how we were doing them. But I mean, I think that now that I feel like if I was a student now and I saw all of the things, in fact, when I went on the tour, like, I don't know when that was, a year ago or so, I was like, oh, can I use this room? Can I use it? Like,
I same. The Foley room, the sound Foley room is awesome. Oh my,
I'm not working on a project, but can I use it?
I know. You guys have a huge sound stage. Like I think like I keep going back to like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a building. But you're
Mm-hmm.
right. And this, because Ku'u and I had even more limiting or constraints put on us because, again, like Charlotte's saying, back in the day, we had that single room. We couldn't take, how did you do fully? We couldn't take equipment off campus. And you guys,
Yeah.
I don't think. But now that I see all these amazing rooms you guys have, I'm like
What do you
jealous.
need? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got that big green screen somewhere. You could just put the
Oh,
background in the back. You know what I mean? No kidding.
they have a Foley room and it has multiple different floors. Like it has a dirt gravel floor, it has like bricks, it has like it's so
They
cool.
they're lucky. I know. Well, I'm most interested in like all of the like studios that they have. They have like an audio mixing room and a color grading room. You have your own room for color grading? Like, you know what I mean?
That's crazy. Yeah, you guys have sound booths
Yeah.
to do ADR and like recordings. Like when I had to do my short film for my capstone project, I
Right.
go to the sound department and ask for permission to use their
Right.
sound.
You know
And they
what?
made
Someone
it seem like,
actually,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. No, you go ahead.
Oh no, it was just like they made it not seem like a hassle, but it was like they were doing us a favor.
Right.
So you guys have
Right.
so many awesome, awesome things to take advantage of now.
Yeah. Seriously, I can't wait. I tell them every time that I can't wait to see the things that you can do because there's so much possibility.
Yeah.
Someone actually asked about your capstone. So they said, how hard was your semester capstone? Something like that. How hard was your capstone? Why don't you just tell us what it was and how you did
Okay, it was very hard.
it?
Um, so when I was in school, the ACM program at UH West Oahu had a deal with the Regal and Capillet. So, students were asked to pitch ideas, and the ideas that were pitched, you got to create a short film that would be shown in front of every movie in that theater for a year. And so I pitched my idea and I got chosen, and um I feel like looking back on it now, it was a very ambitious idea, and I had a like who I have been saying, we had very limited resources, and I pulled in like every favor. I had a budget of $0 and I was doing like most of it myself. Like I had a solid team of maybe like 5 people who like pitched in big time to help me out. Um, and of course, looking back on it now, it was like I wish I had done a million things differently, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And guys, like ACM is a growing program, like amazing things to come up like that for you guys, hopefully in the future. But yeah, capstone is rough, but power through.
I mean, I tell them to pick something like that they're really passionate about. Like,
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to work on it and you're gonna have to like break it open, do everything about like you want to pick something that you can have like the stamina to do that for a whole
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah, it's a workload, but pick something you're super passionate about. Pick something that you can use in a portfolio and take with you outside of the program, and take advantage of your fellow students. I wish I had asked people that I didn't even know if they were interested in helping me in my project. Like, I feel like I would have come out with so many more friends and had so much more help, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just reading through the comments. Julian is on with us. He was on with us last time, actually. I got to interview him for our last Talkin story, and he said, they have a Foley room? And Charlotte's like, yes, see? I mean, I like what you're saying too about, you know, like connecting with the people. Again, that goes back to the networking, right? Networking now. And what would you give, I mean, what would you tell someone who has a hard time like networking and asking people? I mean, you're so bold, you just went onto a set and was like, can I have a job? But like, what would you tell students who are, you know, a little more introverted, a little more like, you know, like maybe I don't believe in myself, or I don't have the skills yet to work in something, you know?
It's funny that you say that because I consider myself a pretty big introvert, unless
Mm-hmm.
it comes to unless it comes
That's
to
why
something. that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
So introverts out there, I see you, I feel you, I am with you. It is very hard. Um, like I don't like speaking up in classes, group projects kill me. But the awesome thing about the day and age we live in is uh there's internet and you don't really have to talk to anyone.
Right.
You can just pretend you're talking to a bunch of imaginary friends and put yourself out there. Um, and have no fear of judgment. I mean, you really just have to like be completely yourself and don't be afraid of other people's criticism, regardless of in person or on the internet. But also, if you see someone like in your classes that you've watching their projects, or you see something that they've done that you like reach out and like tell them, create a community around that, because you're being genuine in that sense. And I think the biggest thing with networking, especially with me, like I feel like it can be so fake sometimes, and that's what
Right.
is like it feels yucky, like having to put
Mm-hmm.
on like a plastic
Yes.
smile, like you're so great. I
Yeah.
think if you are able to be genuine and approach someone like and truly appreciate what they've done and give a genuine compliment, I think that can go like miles.
Yeah, for sure. Erica said chutzpah goes a long way in TV business, and I think you agree, right?
True.
Agreed.
It's true.
I have somebody in the comments asking what it was like to work on Walker Independence. Okay, wait. So let's backtrack a little bit. How
Okay.
did you go from being a production assistant to a producer's assistant? Because I think we also have to kind of tell people that there's a bit of there's a ladder. There's definitely a
Yeah.
ladder in entertainment.
There is a ladder. I saw someone ask earlier if I was in a union, and I am
Oh.
not. But
Mm-hmm.
um, certain departments do have unions where you can join. I just unfortunately am not in one of those positions.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just pure dumb luck that I got the position. The girl who was producer's assistant the season prior was going to be leaving the show, and we had become friends. And she was like, if you want the job, you're going to be my only recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
So it's not
interviewed
just
and I
luck,
got it.
Ashley.
No, it's luck. I mean, it's being friendly, it's being a hard worker,
Hard worker,
but it all comes
exactly.
down like for me, it's like right place, right time. I like have been extremely fortunate in the opportunities that I've gotten in this industry.
Yeah, I like that you said right place, right time, because I mean, it is about making yourself available and kind of like, you know, sometimes like you might not feel like you can do something, but jumping at opportunities, just having the courage and like enthusiasm to do something new, like it'll override not having experience or not knowing someone or anything like that, you know?
Right.
Okay, so tell us about becoming a producer's assistant and how that's different and what it was like and what it's like.
Yeah. So it was definitely like becoming a production assistant, but for more important people.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically become a very important person's second brain, and you need to remind them about everything. You need to know everything. You need to get buddy buddy with the cast. You need to get to know the writers who in Hawaii, all of our writers' rooms are in LA, our executive offices are in LA. So it's a lot of communication. So, and it's a lot of multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's also exciting and it's engaging, and it's one of the pathways to get to where I want to go. Because initially I had thought that I wanted to be a producer. So I started out assisting the line producer,
Mm-hmm.
and he deals with all the money. And I realized very quickly I'm not good at numbers at all. Not that I had to do anything with the budget, but seeing what he had to go through and the
Mm-hmm.
fires that he had to put out, like there's so much money being dealt with. Even like it was a CBS show, the first 3 shows that I worked on, and it's
Mm-hmm.
millions of dollars moving through these studios that we're working on, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
But then I ended up assisting the line producer and producing director, I saw the producing director was a much more creative role. They get to work with the directors much more hands-on. They're in much more communication with the writers directly. I was like, oh, I can do that. And then I got the opportunity to go on set. So I was like, okay, directing, I think, is the way I want to go. But unfortunately, with directing, basically the only pathway to get to that is you have to make a short. You have to direct something to show people you can direct.
You can direct, yeah.
And I haven't done that literally since this program.
But you will.
I will. That's what I'm going to be doing next.
Okay. I like that you're telling people that you got to see into other people's jobs and see like where you fit in, because I think you know, a lot of people, when you think about like how a film is made, you kind of just know these big groups, but there are a lot of people working behind the scenes, you know, like it's not even, not just like in, you know, in the office where you work, but like in crew too, you know, there's so many people. So I think just having that opportunity to even be working on a production and then getting to see like where you fit in, I think that's very cool, obviously. but also more than just luck, Ashley. You are a hard worker. You have to be dedicated to this.
Thank you.
I'm just going through our questions. Someone wants, well, can you tell us, I want to know personally, and I don't know if you can share, but can you just tell us like a small set story, or, you know, just an experience that you had on set that really solidified for you, like, oh, this is what I want to do?
Yes. So I for Hawaii Five-0, the 2 seasons I was on that, and then Magnum PI, I was working for the same producer. And after that, I ended up getting a cold call from this random guy, and he was like, I'm coming to Hawaii, I'm making a new show. I'm interviewing for assistants. Do you want to interview? Do you want to apply? And I was like, who is this guy, first off? But I was like, okay, sure. I interviewed and I got the job with him. His name's Larry Tang. I've been trying to find a time for him to come speak with you guys because he's awesome. But he is a director, executive producer. He does like everything. He's awesome. And I think working with him and seeing what he's been doing in the industry and on his own really, really inspired me and solidified the decision that I'd love to pursue being a director.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, because now, I mean, it seems very serendipitous, right? But everything that's meant to be will happen. So I think that, I mean, I remember us talking about like, what were you gonna do after you'd leave?
I remember that.
Right? That's what
I remember that.
That's our last catch up, is we talked about that, and just like making those decisions, right? But I think that goes back again to your story, and what you're saying is just like having that passion and doing it, going for it.
Yeah.
This should be your model. Just go for it. Okay.
Just go for it. A spoof of Nike.
Right. We have a couple people asking how much you make. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Or you can also talk about, someone wrote, I need to network, but the fact that involves talking to recruiters makes me feel like I'll come off as annoying. That's a hard one.
That is really hard. I haven't had to talk to recruiters. And what's crazy about this industry, like the production industry in general, if you get into it and you like it and you're a hard worker, you're not gonna not have work in Hawaii. I can tell you that right now. They are constantly looking for new production assistants, which is the way to get into the industry. And recruiters are more for like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but like more corporate positions. So maybe like design, like web design. I don't know. I haven't really had to deal with that side of the world.
Yeah. I think, well, for example, when I worked on The Tonight Show, I was recruited. So there are like recruiters who will look for like interns and stuff. And then you talk to them more about like corporate, like NBC in general. And then you actually get to meet with the people who who are on the show. So I think that's just like another avenue. And I think when you bring up recruiters, you're also talking about LinkedIn. I will say that LinkedIn is very big in entertainment in the mainland, but like Ashley said, not so much here, right? Like it's kind
Yeah.
of like who you know in your network, and then luckily once you get in, you're kind of like locked in, which I've heard too. I mean,
Yeah.
people who work on TVs, I mean, actually correct me if I'm wrong, people who work for TV also can work for the films that come or something like that. You clarify that for me.
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry.
Is it like the same? The industry is really tight, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Everyone is really tight.
Oh yeah, it's super
Here in Hawaii.
connected.
Yeah. Julian wants to know, does that involve your own money, directing your own work?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It will.
But that's why it'd be great if you're a student, right? Because you can use
Yeah.
the resources. You can find the grants and
Exactly.
people who want to produce, you know, even for
Right.
you to be able to create that trailer. I mean, somebody wanted that and they hired you, you know?
Right. And like the cool thing about being in Hawaii too, you guys, is there are so many incredible people who work in the industry. So on my short, I don't remember who pulled me the favor, but Brian Kuliana worked on my short. His daughter and her boyfriend surfed in my short film. And like he's a legend. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But people want to help film students, especially at UH West Oahu. Like, reach out, you guys.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Like, it can be so intimidating. But I think, like, from this conversation, some of the biggest advice I can give is, like, just ask. Like, the worst they can say is no.
No.
Like, it's so scary. I know, it's scary. But people, like, want to help.
Right. Rejection is hard, but I promise, you know, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Like, you're not gonna die, you know? Like,
you're not gonna die.
You'll find something else. You'll find something else. Yeah. I'm just gonna scroll up a little bit more, but I mean, I actually want to go into a little bit. You got to, where did you shoot Walker Independence? Not here, obviously.
No, New Mexico.
And did your producer take you with him? The director?
So it's the same boss, Larry Tang, that I talked about before. He is so he has a deal at CBS right now where he basically like is developing shows with his writer friends who are all amazing, and he pitches them to CBS, and then they're like, okay, we'll buy this one, or like, oh, we'll pass on that one, and then he tries to sell it somewhere else. Wow. And so this is one of the shows that was pitched to him, actually. And he got it. He basically starts the shows. So he directs the pilot in the first few episodes. So he offered me the opportunity, and I did not know if I wanted to. I was so scared.
Why?
I thought I was gonna stay in Hawaii. Hawaii is all I knew for like the past 8 years. My like entire community is here now, and I'm sure that's the same way for a lot of you guys too. Like when you're on an island, everything else seems very far away.
Right.
I've never been to New Mexico. The only person I would have known would be Larry going out there. That's terrifying. But it ended up being an offer that was like too good to be true. They paid for my housing, or rental car, my flights. They like hooked it up, and I was able to go out there while Larry was shooting the pilot. And so I finally said yes. Went for the pilot, and then I got the offer to come back. And so I went back for the next 3 episodes that Larry directed.
Wow. That's amazing. Can I just say, I love that for you, because especially because you already told everyone that you are an introvert. It's a huge decision. That's a huge decision. And I'm just you're amazing. I mean, for some people it seems like a no-brainer, but you also have to think about, you know, like where you are in your career and what you want to do next. And like, I mean, obviously you just took a great opportunity, and it goes back to just making those connections. People will remember you. I think that's a big piece of advice. People will remember you by how hard you work, for sure.
Totally. And I think another big thing to keep in mind when starting off in the industry, in production, actually in any industry, I think, is go where you're valued. I think especially us as like zillennials,
Millennial.
we hear about awful work environments. They are out there. They are terrible. You do not have to settle for that. And I finally found someone who believed in me more than I believed in myself and wanted me to succeed. Like, you just have to stick with people who believe in you like that. I've been very fortunate. Charla is one of those people. She will believe in you until the end of time. So stick with
That's true. That is so true. But I love that. I love that you're saying that, you know, because I think another thing that people think about when they think about showbiz and entertainment is that, you know, like it is a cutthroat industry, you know, but being able to find people that believe in you, that help you to believe in yourself, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Charlotte just laughed. You better be laughing at the first part, not my part, Charlotte. Julian wants to know, was there a difference working in New Mexico and Hawaii?
Besides the climate.
Right.
It was interesting because I feel like the industry like held pretty true. Like a crew is going to work the same way regardless. And saying that, I worked on 3 shows here in Hawaii, but it was basically all 3 shows had the same crew because it's Hawaii. Mexican food, yes, that's true. Right. But yeah, I feel like it held up pretty well. Even going to the mainland, which I was really nervous about. I think if I had gone to like LA or New York, it would have been much more fast paced. But it was like definitely manageable. Like it wasn't a total complete shock for me moving into the same role in a different place, which was nice.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a nice transition. I will say I saw all of your Insta stories and I loved well, the other thing I want people to know is that you do photography and you take these wonderful photos. And
Thanks.
I saw them on your stories and I was like, oh, that's so awesome that you're doing your job, but you're also like living it up, doing your other things in a new environment.
I got super fortunate. So Larry and then like the head of a show is called the showrunner. And for Walker Independence, his name is Seamus, and he was like the coolest person ever. And him and Larry were basically like running the show together and like creating it from the ground up. And I ended up bringing my film cameras out with me, and they were so encouraging. They let me bring them to set. Usually you cannot do that on sets. That's not right. And then I became great friends with the cast, and they let me take their photos all the time, which is awesome. They're all so wonderful. They're so funny. Couldn't share like some of my favorite photos because the show hasn't come out yet. It comes out next month, October 6th. We're gonna watch on the CW. But yeah, I love taking photos on the side.
Yeah. Someone put like film.
Oh yeah. So I have a 35mm camera. It's a Canon AE1, and then I have a medium format camera.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, I like that you said that sometimes they don't let you. Most times they don't let you. You're not allowed to take pictures on set because they don't want you to reveal anything that's happening. So that's awesome that you got to do that.
Yeah.
And do like, I love that you got that experience and you really got to see what it was like. Because I think even a lot of people here, right, they think like, oh, I have to move to the mainland to work in, you know, and you kind of do. Like, I mean, you ended up going there, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you definitely do not have to. And tons of people get their start in Hawaii and then have opportunities elsewhere. Something I would suggest to students, if you guys have ever considered not living in Hawaii, think about a show, like your dream show, your dream movie to work on. Go Google the production company that makes it. So before I was gonna go to New Mexico, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, if I wanted to continue on NCIS or not. And my like dream movie, show, whatever, to work on would be Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And once I got the job on Walker, I was planning to leave. But if you go on Disney's website, they have an entire section of jobs,
Yeah.
entry-level positions. You can find a PA job. You can move to Britain. You could go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
You can go to LA. They just filmed the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series in Boston.
Right.
Like,
Oh.
you can go all over the country depending on if you're willing to relocate, which again is very scary, but just something to think about.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, people always ask me why, like, how I got into the Tonight Show. Guys, I literally just looked it up. Like,
yeah,
literally just go online and keep tabs. Something that I would do is I would bookmark like job hiring sites, you know, and then like if I missed the deadline already, like be ready because the next deadline will come up. You
have
know?
your resume up to date. Have your references. Get Charlotte's phone number on there.
Right. References for sure. No, I know. It's like, and then another thing is they're always looking for interns around semesters. So if you, I mean, like right now, you should start looking to see if people are posting for spring semester internships.
Yeah.
And Julian said, and go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. We have a couple more minutes left. I'm so grateful that you're here with us and you could just share with them because, I mean, obviously they're loving you and they love hearing about this experience and the experiences that you've had. For me, I want to know what is keeping you inspired? What's keeping you creative?
Ooh.
I know, right?
You know what's funny? I feel like there's actually so much though, and it's mainly like TV shows and movies, which is the industry I'm in. And it's funny because the past 3 shows that I've watched, no offense to all the Hawaii shows I worked on, I never watched like maybe 1 episode of each of those shows. But especially working on this new show, I don't know if it was because it was a period show or because it was in a new place but like I love these characters and I love the setting and the story, and I've always loved period shows. Like I don't know if anyone's watched The Great or if anyone watched what was the show where the girl plays chess really well? Someone must know.
Queen's Gambit,
like things like that, like period shows, like so inspiring. I think that's
I love that.
Yeah, I always find time for movies.
I love that. Did you see what someone put? Read it.
I know. I did not watch the Emmys, but maybe one day. I keep wondering if I want to stay in TV. I haven't tried the feature world yet, but maybe one day. Maybe one day an Emmy.
Yeah. We believe in you. Erica believes in you. Someone asked, what if you want to go into the video game industry, maybe for an internship position? I mean, I don't know any video game. Oh, actually, that's not true. One of my colleagues, actually, she used to work with me. I work at an online news site. She was a like newsletter writer, and now she's a writer for Riot Games. So I think you just look it up.
Yeah, well, I think it would be the same thing. Like,
I
started playing Elden Ring. Crazy game. I don't know if anyone's played it yet. Or like I have a Nintendo Switch and I love Breath of the Wild. I would literally look up the companies of the games that you like, go to their website and look at their hiring page. And even if the positions look outrageous and you're not qualified, figure out what you need to be qualified for that. And also feel free to send in a resume anyways and be like, I'm willing to learn, and who knows? Maybe they're desperate and will take a chance on you. You never know.
Just go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, my last question. If anyone else has any other questions, you can drop them in the comment, but this will be my last one. Where are we going to see Ashley in the next 5 years? What's in the future? The Emmys, apparently.
Okay, yeah, you guys hold me accountable. I need to direct something. I'm going to try and direct a short film. and then hopefully direct something from there. Who knows?
Speak it. You're speaking it. You're claiming it now. She is claiming it on Talking Story with Alumni.
There we go. Started here. Hopefully my good luck continues.
We know it will.
We'll see.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so
Of
much for
course.
sharing.
Thanks
I'm
for
so happy
having
to
me.
see you and hear your voice and just
I know.
catch up with you, because I always see it on Insta stories, but I'm so glad that I actually got to like learn more about what it's like, you know?
Yes, it was so nice. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. We do this every month, okay? So make sure that you're following us on Instagram, you're checking your newsletter. Charlotte said, don't eat breakfast sandwiches. I don't know what that's about.
That's an inside joke, Charlotte. Okay.
Okay. I love it. And don't eat breakfast sandwiches. Okay. Until next time, guys. Thank you. See you later, Ash. Bye.